Hi, this is Ginger Cook, and I want to welcome you to my studio. And today we're going to be filming a large painting, and actually I've already filmed it. I always shoot my introductions last, and sometimes at the very end I'll come back and even add a few more touch-ups. In case you were wondering what I was doing, I just add a few more highlights here on the shoes. These are these wonderful red shoes. We start out with an 8x10 canvas. So I'm going to show you how to grid it and turn it into a 16x20 painting. But listen, you can do it small if you want to. That's still all right. But we'll have this grid and printout of the grid so that you can do that on our website, gingercooklive.gallery. And what I'm going to invite you to do is to just paint along with me and see if you can't create this fabulously fun painting of the blue jeans and red shoes. If you like our channel, please subscribe, likes, and comments are appreciated. Share these videos with others. This is the very first time we've tried to shoot with 3 cameras. My friend John Little is our business partner with gingercooklive.gallery, and I are starting to expand what we're doing and paint much larger canvases. Normally you just see my hands, okay? But now you're seeing the whole camera. You get to see my nifty electric easel, which I'll show you in a minute. This is going to be great fun, and I can't wait to see what you guys paint. So Ginger Cook 92 on Facebook. Feel free to send me your artwork, and let's see what you come up with after you watch this. Thanks. Hi, this is Ginger Cook, and I want to welcome you to my studio, what we refer to as Studio B, and this is where I have all my large easels. Normally when you see me on YouTube or in one of our lessons, you'll see just my hands. You'll see just my hands, and I'm shooting on a flat table. But today, we're going to be using my electric easel and a 16x20 canvas. I'm going to break down, I'm going to show you how to take this painting, which is one of my favorites I've done in a while, and we're going to make it larger, 16x20, and I'm going to show you how to grid that, and also we're going to be able to do it on this easel. And what's cool about this easel, it's electric. Now, I don't think you can buy these anymore, and everybody's going to groan on me, but what happens is it's all controlled by your feet, and I have little pedals here. This takes it right up. See that? See how this is taking this right up? And then we're going to come over here, and then I have a pedal that takes it down. I can bring it backwards and forwards, and I can move it sideways. And this is called a Master One, and if that can give you a hint, Jerry's used to sell them. They don't sell them anymore. I think I bought the last one when we had the store in Houston some years ago. I was so excited to get it. It's my favorite all-time easel, and I think they're made in Korea, so maybe that gives you a hint. I don't know if anybody else is selling these or not. So anyway, I'm just going to share that with you. What we're going to do first today, we're going to put a background on this painting. And that's what we call an underpainting. And then we'll go ahead and grid it and put on the shoes. I'm going to do this in steps. This will be a lot of fun. I'm going to be using just a regular wax paper palette, and I'm going to be using a fairly large brush because this is a pretty big canvas. It's a number 12 ruby satin filbert. Could have used a bright brush on this too. Just happened to have this, was handy. And I've got most of my paints are in the other studio. I'm going to be having a few cherry cloth rags, and I make sure you have one under the water. We're going to be putting out some different colors. I'm using some different brands of paint, using kind of a combination of paints because I've got, here is Dioxazine Purple, and I want a little Cad Red Medium, and I'm using a combination of Liquitex and Matisse because this is what I happen to have sitting around. And we're doing a background, and so it just really is not as important to me what brand of paint. As long as the red costs more than the blue, you're using professional acrylics. How's that? So this is Ultramarine Blue by Liquitex. And by the way, this is the green shade, not the red shade. I normally recommend the red shade of Ultramarine Blue, but we just happen to have this one, so I'm going to be using it. We'll squirt some of that out, kind of use that up, because it's really easy not to see the fine print on these tubes of paint, get the one that maybe you didn't want. So I ended up with that one. And I've got a little bit of yellow oxide. I'll put some of that out. We're going to start with a very dark background, but before we do that, what I want to recommend you do, okay, is get some lightweight sandpaper and sand your canvas, okay? I'm just going to put this down. And it doesn't take a lot of sanding. This is a Winsor Newton canvas, 16x20. It's a gallery wrap. Again, it's just something I happen to have in the studio. It's called a deep edge, and that means you paint around the sides of it, all right? Artist Classic canvas. When you do a deep edge, you don't frame them. You usually just either paint the edge a different color or wrap the whole canvas with paint around around it. In this case, for instance, I don't know. I might just paint the whole sides just dark blue. But anyway, let's just take some canvas now. Let's just take the sandpaper. And we're going to go ahead and sand this canvas. And let me just bring my canvas down. There we go, down. That's what I love about this. I can bring my canvas down to the level that I want to be, but I'm not stressing and straining over it. And I'll just sort of feel it. Where I feel a little rough patch where I missed something, do that. Move it over. We're not talking about a heavy sand here, okay? So you notice that my canvas will move back and forth. What I love about these is it moves sideways too. Very convenient to paint on. Now, there, that's pretty good. And then I'll just test it with my hand, see what I've got. I've got a little bit up here. Okay, so there, that's pretty good. I have yet to replace the sandpaper. All right, now we're going to take the brush. I'm going to just dampen the brush with water, and then I'm going to wipe it off on a rag. And then what I want to do is get out a palette knife. I think I put one here. Yeah, we're going to start with the dark two colors like that. Now I'm going to add a tiny bit of red to that. Add red medium, just like this. Little tiny bit of red to that. And let's see, I think I need a little more ultramarine blue. Let me just put this picture aside here and get out some more paint. That's got a little purple for me. I want a little bit more ultramarine blue and squeeze a little more out. Somebody asked if paints expire. And this is a really old tube of paint. I don't know how many years I've had. It still works. It's a little thicker than I want, but it still works. One thing I can do too is I can take a little mister jar like this. I can mist it and add a little moisture. Okay, now, and I'm going to take this mister and I'm going to mist my canvas. This is something you may not know to do. Quickly, you don't see me do this on the small canvases, but I will do it on a big one like this. Just mist it. Fine mist, not a Windex bottle, friends. All right, so now let's just start here. We're just going to kind of scoop this up and come down like this. I'm going to go down and across and down and across. And what we're going to do is we're going to weave this background in, and I'm going to let this dry overnight. Now, normally I would just take a hairdryer and dry it, but it really works the best if you have the time. Really works the best if you can dry it overnight. Now, I can take some of my paint, just scrape it off of there. Just right off of there. Now, instead of there, that's a little simpler, isn't it? Come under here like that. I want to fill in all these little weaves in the canvas. This little, canvas is just fabric. It's a lot of times what you're buying is thread count. For instance, linen canvas has got a very tight thread count, so it's smoother. Sometimes you can sand a canvas and make it smoother, or even gesso it a couple times and make it smoother. It doesn't take very long to do an underpainting. You see that? Just sort of smooth it out. Now, look here. This much paint would have lasted me, I don't know, for a bunch of those little small canvases I do. And I'm out of paint. Now, one of the reasons I suggest you go over to my website, gingercooklive.gallery, and check out the art lessons there, is that when you're learning to paint, you can use a ton of paint. Notice I'm already out here mixing some more. You can use a ton of paint learning. And if you'll do the small sizes like I suggest, 6x8, 8x10, keep it small. Learn how you want to do it, and then go ahead and, let's put a little more Dioxazine Purple here, then go ahead and do it large like this. That's what you want to do. And people often say, well, I take your art classes, but they're so expensive. Well, I promise you, if you started using smaller canvases to learn, if you're talking about $24 a month for over 200 lessons, including personal art coaching, I don't know where you can find that. And if you're serious about it, you're going to save that much money and not wasting paint. Because you're just not going to be repainting things. You're not going to be putting it on in the wrong place. Here we go. So let's just put a little more of this on with a palette knife like that. And then I'll take this brush and wipe it in. I mean, at least that's what I think you will save money. I think I suggested that to a woman one time, and she said, well, you have no idea, what my budget is. And I don't. I really don't. But if you're talking about painting, it's not an inexpensive hobby. I mean, it's not like golf. Golf apparently is a very expensive hobby, but it's a good hobby. But the thing about golf is that it's just pretty much all outgo, unless you're gambling or something on the games. With acrylic painting, when you do this, someone said, is it all right if I sell my artwork? Absolutely. If you turn around and make this painting and want to sell it, as long as you're not making prints of it to sell it, you can sell it, turn around, make 10 of them and sell them. That's all right. 10 paintings that you've done. My job here is to show you how to do different kinds of artwork, how to best create something. Now look how thick this paint's going on. It's going on really thick. I should be able to probably finish the balance of this painting like this down here. Now, in the original painting, you see I've got this dark background with some green here at the bottom, but I still have to have this dark purpley blue color underneath. So we're just going to keep scraping this up, and I should be all right. I'll put a tiny bit of water just on the tips of my brush, and then I can move some of this paint around a little bit. That's another secret, too. The reason you want a good brush, and nobody pays me to say this. Nobody pays me to say this. When you have a good brush, like a ruby satin silver brush like this, it saves you paint because the brush actually distributes the paint where it needs to go. And a lot of times, if using a cheaper brush, you can sit here and nothing happens. And it's very frustrating. Good tools, just own one good tool in each size and take care of it. It's better than a dozen brushes that are kind of cheap because it'll save you so much aggravation. Now I'm just going to scrape up the rest of this. See that? I've got it on the palette. I see that. And I'm just going to come over here, put it on here like that. Now somebody says, when do you paint the sides? Now this is the deal. I see people all the time, and they want students and so forth, and they'll be doing this, and they'll start painting the sides right away. There is a lot of paint left in this brush. If I were to go wash this brush, there's a lot of paint left in it. So what I can do, put a little water just on the tips of it. Now I'll use this extra paint to paint my sides like that. I'm just going to do that, paint the sides. And you're going, really? That's what you do? That's easy. You do the sides last because you're going to come over as we add green to this or blue or whatever in the background. We're going to go ahead and probably paint over it anyway. So this is just our first layer. Now you'll notice I didn't bother to sand the sides. Now the other reason you want to sand the sides is, and I didn't do it, but is that your brush wears out. Your brushes wear out on rough canvases. That's the fastest way to have your brushes wear out. So one way to do that is not have it. Now, if I want to do this, I want to just, I'm going to ask my film editor over here, John, can I move my canvas over this way? Is that going to be out of the frame? Can I do that to get the sides right here? Is that all right? See, isn't that convenient? I can move it over here. Again, tiny bit of water just on the tips, not the whole thing. And I'll come up here and paint the sides. Now, you may see tape all over this easel. At the bottom of my easel, you'll see all this tape with all this paint. Acrylic paint is unlike oil paint in that it builds up. So what I do is I tape my easels, and then every once in a while, I'll just put fresh tape on so that I don't have this acrylic paint build up on the wood. Spend hours scraping it off. So here I'm going to do that. Come under here and make sure I've got all this like that. And here's my sides. And a lot of times on my easels, I'll tape these edges too, so it just depends. I just use regular artist tape and tape it, something and do a few layers. This easel is due to be retaped again. All right, so there you have it. Let me just bring this on up here. I'm going to just see. Here's let's just bring my canvas up now. You can kind of see what I'm doing here. Can you guys see it? And there it is. Now this is just going to sit here, you guys, for a day or two. Well, probably tomorrow I'm going to finish this, but for sure it's going to sit here at least overnight and dry, and that's my big plan. This is going to sit over here and dry. I'll make sure I've come under here like this with my paint all under the top of this, like that. And then this brush is going in water. Now I thought I would use some yellow, and I don't think at this case, this yellow and the red I'm not using. Because I need this purple to dry first, and that will not benefit me. So what would I do with this? Well, since I took it out of a tube, not much. Though I did see somebody fairly clever the other day said how to get paint back in a tube. You really can't, but if you really wanted to, I can show you. I saw this the other day. It was sort of clever. You open up a tube like this, you with me. Oops, there it goes. I'm going to tap it down. So you have this sort of tap it down. And you could do this and then just keep tapping your paint. It won't work very well on the Matisse because the opening isn't big enough. But if you've got the patience of Job, say, you could probably put some paint back in a tube. Probably been best not to put it out in the first place. So anyway, that's something you could do if you wanted to, like that. See? Then you just add a little more. I mean, I've got students who will do this, but I would have been better off not. Well, I needed the red for the purple, and I just didn't need the yellow. So here I'm tapping this down. It's going back in the tube. Also, did you know you can buy little jars, tiny little jars, and seal them good and spray them a little bit, maybe put a little bit of paint in the jar. But for the most part, if it's sat out for a while, you probably don't want to do that. Okay, there we go. This is what we've got. Palette knife goes in water. Brush has gone in water. This is what we've got. I hope you're enjoying this video. And in our next step, we will then finish the background and then go ahead and start gridding on our shoes. Okay, so now I've moved over to a flat table in the other studio. And what we're going to do is we're going to grid this piece on, but before that, before we do the gridding, we're going to go ahead and create these colors down here in the blues and the greens down here and up into the purples, all right? Now, so let me just move this out of the way, and here's what we've got so far. We've got almost this purple navy blue color, and because of the way my camera's set up, I pretty much have to do this sideways, but I don't think it really matters. There we go. So here's our picture. Now here's what I'm going to do. I know that I'm going to take about this much of our canvas, just something about like this, and I'm going to start blending it into the blues and the greens, all right? So to do that, I'm going to just put out some paint in these colors. Now, remember, we've already got Ultramarine Blue, a little Cad Red medium, and some purple. So to get these colors, what we want to have is, to get this green, which is almost a warm green, we're going to want Phthalo Blue this time. For sure, we're going to want some white. Let's just do that. Here's a little white. All right. And now I want a little yellow, because yellow and blue make green. And I think I want, here's just a little Cad Yellow medium. Okay. And I'm for sure going to want Phthalo Blue. Like this. Oh, let's make sure we have a little more purple out on this side, as long as I'm doing it. Here's our purple. I want you to understand that you can, move stuff around. Okay, here's some, let's see, here's a little Phthalo Blue. Here, like this, for our greens. And probably I'm thinking a little burnt sienna would be a good color. And we're putting out a little more than you normally see me put out, because we're using a bigger canvas, so I'm squirting out a little more color. And now, what I can do here, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do now, is I'm going to label those colors, all right? So here's a Cad Yellow medium. I'm going to put that up there like that. So in case we get, things get mixing, I know where everything is. And you can get these labels. Just go to our website, gingercooklive.gallery, and hit contact us and just write me and ask me. And, again, you don't have to be a member to get the template for these, and then we'll tell you where to get the Avery labels. So let's see. I want a little burnt sienna. That's this color. And I want to make sure I'm labeling the purple and the Phthalo Blue. Make sure I have those labeled so that I don't get mixed up when I start grabbing colors. I could have written this on here. I like this because you can see it. In other words, this reads clearly for you too. So let's just kind of come in here like that so you can see it. What I'm talking about. Here's titanium white. Let's put that there like that. Now, I think that was purple. Yes, Dioxazine Purple. Here we go. Okay, and I'm thinking still probably Ultramarine Blue. I think I want that, so I'll put that over here like that. So those are the colors I want, I think, at this time. If I need Cad Red Medium, I'll let you know, so we'll decide. But here's that. Let's find a little, let's see, we said this Ultramarine Blue, like that. Let's put a little of that out. All right, now, you're going to want kind of a fairly large brush. I'm going to use a round, kind of a bristle brush like this to make this. See if this is going to be big enough. I'm going to move this out of the way so you can put it like this so I can see it. You don't need to see it so much, okay? Now, starting with the dry brush, I'm going to take a little bit of yellow, a little yellow oxide. Let you see me do this right like that. And a little bit of ultramarine blue like that. And I've got this green. I'm going to come up here like this, making little circular motions here, like that. Put some of this color. Now, if I add a little phthalo blue to that, tiny bit of burnt sienna. Okay, now I've got this color green. See, I've changed it a little bit. Okay, a little bit more phthalo blue, maybe a little white. Now look here. Now that, see, now I'm coming to here like this and added this color. And you see how I'm just rolling the brush around, making these little circles, and I keep going. Now here's a little ultramarine blue and purple. It's coming in here like this. I'm just sort of blending this all out together, maybe a little more ultramarine blue. Coming up this way. Alright, now maybe back into here. Now I'm using a dry brush. There's no dampness on this brush, and this is dried overnight. Let's start a little bit more with the colors now. A little bit of yellow oxide. Phthalo Blue, yellow oxide, and Cad Yellow Medium. Let's just put some brighter green here. Want a little bit of red in that, so a tiny bit of burnt sienna. A little more of this color. You can mix on the canvas, that's okay. What we're trying to do is to change. I want you to see how I keep changing the colors, changing the blues as I come down like this. You can push fairly hard with this, and then just sort of keep coming around. Now I'm going to zoom back out now that you're kind of seeing me do it. See? Now as I come here, now I might miss the paint just a tiny bit, but that's all. That's all the moisture I want. I missed the paint just a little. You can do a little tiny bit, just a little bit, but that's all the moisture I want in this paint. I don't want any blending medium. Now someone's going to say, but what if you did blending medium? And you know, I'm going to, all right, so I'm going to show you what happens if you use blending medium. I don't think, this is a larger canvas, so if you were going to use it, this would be the size canvas to use it on, and let's just take a little blending medium and put it somewhere. If this is Liquitex slow dry blending medium, okay? So if I was going to use that, I'd put a little on here like that, and no water on the brush, and it will make it a little creamier, all right? You can kind of see that. It's going to make it a little creamier. It's going to stay wet a little longer. Now, some of you may decide you like that better. That's this stuff right here, okay? But all right, so we're coming down here like that. Now I'm taking a little bit of blending medium, kind of mixing it into the colors, maybe a little ultramarine blue. I'd use about 10%. See how that goes for you. Here we go. Come down here and maybe just, and when you're overlapping, stay out of the centers now. Once it's you've done your bit, stay away from it, because here's the deal. Get a little darker in the corners. You have to go real light when you start overlapping colors. If you don't, you'll start digging a hole, and you won't be happy with it. All right. So here's a little of these same colors here. I'm just alternating between blues and greens and yellows. A little bit of blending medium right here, like that. Just blend all that in. Okay. Slow dry blending medium. There we go. I'm going to come up this way, and I want you to see what we're painting here. Let me just show you. Can you see it? So you just kind of, again, I'm doing it sideways, but this doesn't take long, and then I'll dry this with a hairdryer, and come back and grid the picture. And then I know how to do these colors if I need to. I definitely know how to make these colors. I'm going to put a little white over here like this, get a little blending medium on my brush, add a little blue here. See how I can just keep changing things? This is all sort of staying wet like this. Beautiful colors in the blues and the greens in here. That's what I love about this piece. I think it's going to be stunning big. And I think as a female who, spent a good deal of her younger life wearing high heel shoes, maybe nothing quite this high because I'm almost like 5'11", so when I did that I was taller than everybody else and the guys didn't like it. But I was a blue jean kind of person, so if I was going to wear heels, I really like to wear them with blue jeans. And so this picture has meaning for me. I don't know, it just does. So anyway, so we're going to come back over here. Mostly this is going to be foot in here like this, and then blue jeans. Okay, we'll see more of that. Let's see, this is our slow dry blending medium again. Let's add a little bit of yellow here. Maybe add here's some more blending medium. There's a little blue. Now, one thing you can do is you can take a rag like this. Let me just shove this picture up so you can see where I am. Take a rag like this and wipe off your brush if you have to. Just grab a little blending medium and move it over. Just pure blending medium. It's okay. You can go up to about, 50-50. Now, here we go. A little blending medium white and turquoise. There you go. That's pretty. Again, I'm changing sort of the colors. I'll shove this back here. Let's see. Can I get back here? Get this far enough back so you can see this side of the canvas. All right. So I want you to be able to see this bottom part of the canvas. I don't have to go very far. Here's a little ultramarine blue, a little yellow and ultramarine blue down in here. A little white and phthalo. Now, okay. Let's see how I've got this. These pretty colors are very similar to this, isn't it? Of course, I painted this too, so that's not a surprise to me. But all right, so what about this little transition between here and here? So here's a little ultramarine blue and purple. And come up here with the blending medium, and as I come over here like this, here's what you got to do. You got to wipe off your brush and then blend these together like this, so that the transition's a little bit more out of focus. That's what you're going for, sort of an out of focus transition between the blue-green and the ultramarine blue and the purple, like that. Ooh, that's pretty. I didn't realize I'd gotten into white, but I like that. That's not in the original picture, but I kind of like that. Bob Ross would call that a happy accident. Put a little blue here, a little yellow. Maybe leave a little tiny bit of that purple showing. You bring this over like this. Now up here, just move this out of the way in our picture. Up here, now here I need the darker color. I need to come down and just blend this out. Okay, a little darker color here, a little bit of purple, a little ultramarine blue. Pinch the brush, wipe off the excess paint, and just sort of get a little transition going here with this sort of like, think of mist and smoke, where this just sort of comes up and does nothing. That's what you're going for here, right? A little bit of mist and smoke. That looks pretty good to me. Okay. That's pretty. I think I like that idea of the purple and a light color somewhere. I might just put that in here anyway because I think it's pretty. Ooh, pretty. All right, we'll see where this goes here. Maybe I'll just come in here like that with a little yellow and phthalo blue and a little bit of white, phthalo blue and burnt sienna. There we go. I've got a little burnt umber. There, that's pretty. Okay, so we've got, I like what we've got here now. And again, our blue jeans and shoe will all be in here, so I think we're okay. And if we had to come up some more, that's all right. There's just some blending medium here like this to kind of smudge this all out. Okay, a little darker in the corners here maybe. Okay. Now, as a gallery wrap, would you go all the way around the piece on the edges here? I would. I would take this at the same time. Take this opportunity to use up your paint and go around the sides. You're not, you know, I think that's a good idea. I think I'll show you how to paint that around the sides. Bottom's not so important, but you do want to do that around the sides. See, like this. See, just take a minute like this. And just paint around the sides if you need to. That's it. Second coat of paint here. Now, I won't go up much past this like that. I'm going to just say there's a little bit of phthalo blue and white. Again, it doesn't have to match perfectly, but it doesn't hurt to do that either, right? And then turn it around. And you want to do the other side too. Just use some of this. I've already put the paint out, might as well use it up. Try not to make it all one color. You see how I'm painting it, adding a little turquoise, changing this up a bit, so that when you put it this way, it all kind of matches. A little bit, anyway. Alright, we're going to go up the side on the right-hand side here. We're just going to go up with the purple and the blue and keep going up with this row of paint. And just go ahead and paint this now. I mean, I already put the paint out. I'm not going to get it back in the tube. Alright, and so here's the a little bit of the blue and the white. Like this. Okay, so you can kind of see that's how we painted this. And if I want to come back. Okay, so when I last left you, I had knocked over the microphone, and that was the end of the video, but that we're done anyway. So now I've dried all this. Now we're going to do a grid and of our picture. And this is available on our website, gingercooklive.gallery. So if you need this grid, it'll be free under materials, and feel free to go over and get it. Just go over there to our website, and we're regular teaching Acrylic Academy with all kinds of videos over there, and just come check us out and go through and get this if you want this. Now this is 8 by 10, so since it's 16 by 20, these squares are going to be 4 times larger. We're going to have to do every 4 inches. We're going to have to do some lines. So let's take a ruler, and I'm going to start over here, and I'm just going to measure. I'm going to start at the edge of the canvas here, and I'm going to mark 4 inches. Come over here. I guess I'm just doing this ruler so dirty. I just got to do it where I think it's right here, and 4, 2, 3, 4, and this should be 4 right here. See, it is. So now what you do is just move this out of the way and show you how to do a grid. We're going to use a T-square, which I put somewhere very convenient. So I have it right away. Here it is. It's knocked out on the floor too. Okay. We talk a lot about triangles and T-squares, but T-square, you come like this, you line it up to the side of your canvas like this, and then you should get a pretty straight line. We're very going to gently add. This is a general charcoal pencil. I think I'm going to use just soft chalk because that'll erase easier than this one. Might leave a mark. I'm going to do very light soft chalk like this, like that. Very light soft chalk. Move my microphone a little here. So this will give me a straight line like this. Like that. And then I'm going to come over to this one. Come up on this side. I mean, that's pretty simple, right? Now let's see. Let's do the same thing on this side. On this side here, we'll measure every 4 inches. Okay. I'm just going to come over here like this. I'll do it this direction, closer to me. down here toward the center so I can see it. Maybe 4 inches. Make sure I have this right here. Yeah, okay. Every 4 inches. And you know, this is how you grid something bigger, you know. People want to know, how do you make something bigger? This is how you make it. Now, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my T-square. I'm going to hold it like that. I'm going to line it up with these marks going across here like that. Make sure this is level against the side of the canvas like that. Okay, and then I'm just going to this doesn't look like I've got, yeah, it's 4, okay. I have to watch sometimes. I just look and think, can that be right? Yeah, there it is. And here's 4 inches right here. I know it's straight because I'm using a T-square. Let me just double check the mark here, make sure that that's 4. Like that, it is. Okay. It doesn't hurt to double check your work before you start messing about, right? Okay. Now, okay, let's do one more. That's a pretty good grid. This is probably all the grid we're going to need, alright? Now, that should give us 4 squares going across. So this is 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That gives us 4 squares going across like this. Do you see that? So even though we gridded it more, now if you need more lines, you can do every 2. But I think we should be able to get by pretty much with every 4. And let me just take my ruler and do this, alright? So I'm going to just do this like that. So I know which ones I'm good. I can always make more, right? Okay, let's just always make more lines. I can go every 2 inches. I absolutely need to, but I don't need to do it everywhere. So let's just do it where we need to. And I'm going to come across like this. The same thing here. I'm going to do every 4. Let's see, every 2 here like this. Okay, so that gave us 1, 2, 3, 4. Every 2 of these. I come down like this. Okay, 1, 2. I think I want color. Let's take some colored chalk. I'd like that better. I could see it better. These cross pieces. Like that. Now, no, I don't see that very well. Let's put the white back. Put the white back. Let's try to get this in a straight line. There we go. And then down here. Okay, so we've got, there we go. So, alright, so those are our squares. And I'm going to do this sideways because I can't, this is going to be, I'll mark these. 1, let's see, I can use that little pencil for that. Let that go. 1, let's see, not this one. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Okay, so you need to mark your squares like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and mark all of them. Just put them all in. I'm going to pause and do that. Alright, so there's our squares. So we have 20 squares. And let's just start with let's just start with this one. Now, I think what I want is where we have a lot of detail, I'll add more squares. Now, I know that sounds kind of funny, but where we have a lot of detail, I'll add more. I'll do it instead of every 4 inches, I'll do it every 2. Okay, this is 4, so this is going to be 2 right here, up here, because I know between this one and this one, I was going to say here's 2 inches, and I'll just take a little triangle and do that, and just very gently put this line in here like that, okay? So, because I know that, and this is about halfway right here, okay? Just mark that, right? So I've got a little bit of a shoot coming right here. Here's the halfway line right here. So I'm right, I want you to see, we're just going to start right up here in this corner. I want you to see how we're doing it. I'm going to cross over here like this, and it like this, and then comes around like this, cuts off this corner, so that's the top of this shoe. And then there's a little bit of a shoe here, and then right here is this next part of the shoe, okay? Like this, and comes up into this square at the top of here like this, and then really comes across here, part of this shoe, just coming like that, okay? Now again, you may want to do, add some more squares here, and I say that because this is where all the detail is, but you don't need to mark the whole thing, every 2 inches the whole thing. So here's 2 inches right here, so I'll just line this one up like this. So I know that, for instance, and let's do this side here too, every 2 inches here. So, let's see, let me come up this way. So that's 4, so we want 2 right about here. I'll just, using a little triangle is the same way to get a straight line. Just line it up on something you know is a straight edge. Alright, so I'm doing that one. So this is this square. This is square number 2. So I know that the shoe's coming up like this, like that to this corner, crossing this corner here. And so here's our leg, okay? And it's going to cross around like this. Now we're still into square number 2, okay? So it's still coming over here like this, okay? Coming up like that. We're still in square number 2, all right? Now, where does it come down to here? So here's square number 2. This comes across, almost halfway. No, it comes clear over to the middle line here. So it comes like down about there. This line is cutting across this corner like this. Okay, like that. This line is cutting across here like this and like this. And here, you've got your shoe here coming this way. I'll tell you what, let's just stop a minute and grid all of this up here. Let's put all the cross pieces all the way up for this top shoe. Let's take a minute and do that. Okay, so I've made some more squares just because I want to be pretty accurate with this, right? So now I'm just going to come around and fill in. What you do is you just fill in what's in the square. It's really very simple. It's really not hard. I know you guys think it's really not hard. Just fill in what's in the square. Like, for instance, this is coming down here, like around here like this, and coming back up here like this. We're still in 10, part of 10. It comes up here like this, and this one comes up this way, past up into square 7, okay? Comes up here like this. This shoe comes up here like this. And really, it's a straight line. Here's square number 11, and it's a straight line. There's like a straight line that's coming here like this. That's the top of this heel. You see this? And you don't have to do it straight up. Okay, here it is. We're going to cross off that little bit here. And here's square number 8. And so here's that one right here. So here's part of the heel that's coming around like this and comes down into there. Okay, so now this is going across this way because that's our blue jeans. That's crossing over this way, the top of our blue jeans. You don't, in fact, I think it will be easier for you if you don't try to do it. There's the top of the foot right here, just curving like that, see? And then here's the top of this shoe like this, coming this way. This is the halfway point here. It's coming down like this, okay? And you can make some adjustments. Goodness, this doesn't have to be perfect. You can make some adjustments coming up. For sure, you can make some adjustments coming up here. Now here from this shoe, down here, there's this part of the pant. It comes down here. And I'm just looking to see what we've got in 11. And
we've got a little square piece here. Okay, so all right, let's play with this a little bit. Here's this, and there's a little bit of a wedge here like this. It's a little bit wider. And this part of our shoe, I want you to see what this is, this light part right here. This is the part of the heel that's here. And so we're going to make this a little bit wider here like that. Here's the light part of the heel. Okay. Dark part of the heel, light part of the heel. Here's this curve. Okay. Notice you don't have to get this absolutely perfect. I need to bring this shoe down a little bit more here like that. It's got to curve a little bit more this way. See, a little bit more. See, you can see the shoe, can't you? See how we're making it? And these were kind of odd shoes. This was an interesting photograph I found of these shoes. And I want to bring this line over here. This one's coming to a corner like this. Now remember, you can erase with a rag, so don't panic. If you don't like something you did, you can erase it, and everything will come off with a damp rag. So I'm sort of cutting off this corner like this. There we go. This is coming out this way. With a double line like that, coming this way. Okay? Alright, so that's, we're going to do that. We're going to grid the whole thing like that. We'll come back down here to the bottom. Here's square number 17. This is 18. Alright? 18 is almost the entire square here. Is the bottom of this shoe. Do you see that? You know, here's the top of this shoe right here like that. And it comes very close to here like this. Alright, and then on this grid here, we've got a foot. Okay, so this is coming here. Alright, I think I'm going to put in these bottom squares because I need more information than I have here. So I'm going to put in these bottom squares down here. And that's what you do. If you need more information than that, you can always make a line across here like that and see where you are too. Don't be afraid to make an X in a box, because if you're not sure where something goes, make an X. Like for instance, here like this, I'm going to take an X just like this. Now that sort of helps me, this X, because I know that, for instance, this shoe comes to my X right here, okay, and it's coming around. There was a little bit of a coming around. Here's my X, and this is coming this way, and we've got on this side of the X. This is the side of the shoe that's coming pretty close this way, up here like this, all over here. And this middle section right here, this is square number 20, but the next one's 16. Square number 16, here's the halfway point for square number 16, and that's the halfway point for the bottom of the, interestingly, for the bottom of the blue jeans, okay, which are coming like this. There's the bottom of the blue jeans, and then they're curving back this way, all right? And our heel, here's this one. Our heel's coming very close down to here like this, and follows out like that. And on this corner it's coming like this way. All right. So those are all things that can be very helpful. So those are some of the things that you want to think about when you're gridding something. If you don't want to do it, just do an X, like for instance, let's put an X right through here like that. Like that. So if I put an X right through here like this, so where does this come in relationship to the other stuff? Well, this foot comes this way. It makes sort of sense, doesn't it? And then this is coming up to the blue jeans here. That's their ending here, and here's the pants. They're going on up this way to the foot. Okay? So anyway, you guys, that is a really good way to draw in the shoe. And we're coming across. Here's our X. I still need to divide this square, I think. I'm going to divide that square. It's going to come this way. All right. So, all right. So now I've got the whole thing in a nice grid. I can turn it this way and let you see it. Alright, see? I've got the shoe gridded up here pretty well. And now I can look at it right side up and see do I have it exactly the way I want it. Sometimes you turn things upside down, you'll see a different shape than you saw before, and that's important. I'm going to bring that around. Bring this up here. You know this has got to be straight up and down here. This heel's got to come out maybe a little bit more closer to this corner, like that. Here's the top of the blue jeans that are going to come straight up this way and out the corner. See that? And then these blue jeans are coming down. This is curving. And right up the center here of this line, right up the center of this line, is this kind of seam on the jeans, okay? There's my blue jean seam. Alright, I don't need to put in all the folds, alright? And this has to come out like this and down this way. This is coming down this way and then down to the bottom here. Pulling around, there we go. Now where's the toe come? Right about, here's the middle of this. So the toe's coming right here like this and back up. So as I look to see where the toe's going, I will keep drawing it. I want you to see that sometimes it's okay to, you draw it upside down, however it's easy for you to draw. Let me zoom back up, see as far out as I can go, I think. Alright, so that's why we kind of, maybe you want to turn it this way now. Don't be afraid to turn your picture around. This will really help you, I promise you. This is one of the best things I can show you. Turn stuff around because you see things differently at a different angle. You will see things differently at a different angle, alright? So turn it around. Here's the top of the foot. Here's the top of the shoe. It's coming up here doing this blue jean. Here's this, and this is coming clear over here. So it's got to come clear over this way. That's not right. Okay. I'm going to see it coming this way. And then up here like this. Okay. Now, you see my shoe? Now it's coming up here. Here's the top of the blue jeans. Here's up here. Here's the top of this. Here's the strap going around the shoe, which has got a curve down the foot. All right. So I would say that I'm in good shape. So now I'm ready to go ahead and paint this in. And I think I did pretty well. Let me just show you our picture here. I think I did very well with as far as how far up I needed to get the blue and the green colors. I did very well with that. I did very well with this. And this would be a very complicated thing to draw in if you didn't have a grid. And that's why you want it. And I want to just make sure I have the top of this right here. Here's my halfway point right here. I'm going to show here's the top of this. And then here's the top of my strap. Like that. This has to be a continuous line. These are the things you need to check, like that. And make sure we've got all of this the way we want it before I get too far. Okay, this is coming this way. Awesome. Alright, now I'm ready to go over to the big easel and draw it in. Cool.
Okay, hi, this is Ginger. I'm back. We have come back from Studio B. As you can tell, we've got our grid done. We've drawn in our image. We have the same paint that we used for doing some of this softer background. I'm just going to keep the palette going and do that to start painting in my colors. I'm using a ruby satin silver brush. It's a number 8. These are my favorite brushes, long handle, and they taper. These are called bright brushes. And if you go to my website, we're going to give you a link to a page from the Brush Guys that has a Ginger Cook page on it. That's coming soon. You'll be able to find all the ruby satin silver brushes. We did that so you could find the brushes that we use easily, and any brushes I recommend. And I really like them because these guys ship all over the world. they're willing to mail you a brush anywhere. So I thought that was pretty cool. So let's get going. We've never tried to film with these three cameras before. And so my friend and business partner and editor, John Little, you're going to hear his voice occasionally telling me either to shift the video or to move the picture back and forth, or perhaps he's going to show me, he's going to be filming in on the, zooming in with one of the cameras on the palette and so forth. So, you know, this is a learning curve. We're all going to learn together. We're learning how to give you a good production, and hopefully this will be great. So first thing we're going to do is take this brush, dip it in water, and then want to make sure you always have a rag in your hand, terry cloth rag. You want to make sure you have that. Then dip it in water, and let's get painting. Come on. All right, got it painted in water, and I think because the camera's right in here, our zooming part, I think we're just going to start with the blue jeans. And I'm going to take a little bit of the Ultramarine Blue because I have that out here on the plate. And I'm going to come in here like this. Now that's a little redder than I want. So what could I do with that? I could add a tiny bit of burnt sienna to that. Make that a little bit darker. That's okay. But I think I would rather come over here to my paint stuff and maybe put out another color or two. Let's see what I've got. I think I'm going to put a little magenta out. And I'm just going to put a little drop of magenta. And I'm going to get a little more ultramarine blue because I used quite a bit up there, and I want to make sure I have that. I don't want any yellow in it. All right, so there we go. So a little magenta, a little ultramarine blue. Come over here like that and mix on here like this. And here we go. I'm going to just kind of cover. The green's all dried now. I'm going to start covering this up. This is my dark color. You always in acrylics start with your dark color first. And you'll notice that I'm getting more paint. The biggest thing I see that people do, that's a little too much magenta, a little more ultramarine blue in that, is they don't use enough paint. Coming right here like this, paint this in. I need the dark background underneath here for all my, for my lighter colors to go over it. And here we go, we're going to come around like this. Now look how this brush, because you can use it sideways or you can use it like a tiny angle. And one thing you might want to consider doing is taking a Mr. bottle, putting a little water somewhere, maybe just a little puddle somewhere, maybe just like that. A little tiny bit of water on the tip of your brush like that. There you go. Look at that nice thin line, and go right over the chalk. And this, any extra chalk will wipe off with a damp rag later. I'm just keeping most of it up here. So here's my dark color. I'm going to come on up here like that. I think I put a tiny bit of burnt sienna with this. I say a tiny bit, so I'll just add some more blue to that. There we go. Come all the way up here into our, kind of cover up the green. Now, whenever you see your brush, you do 2 strokes and nothing happens. Get more paint. This is what people don't do. I'll be teaching a class and I'll walk over. Someone will just be, doing something and nothing is happening on the canvas, and they just keep doing the same stroke of brush stroke with no paint happening. All right, so let's take a little Phthalo Blue now and add to this. I'm just add a little bit here. Come up in here like that. That's where I want this. Mix this in. All right, now I'm going to put a little water on my brush. I'm going to wipe it off on a paper, on a towel, and come on up here. I want to come back up here. Do I need to lower the easel, John, or am I good? We're good for right now. You can see I'm just coming up here, and I'm just going to say these are all going to be my blue jeans. And you see the chalk paints over very nicely. All right, now you guys can see that. Now let's just keep going here with this. Here's our cuff. And again, you'll see you see the brush isn't. Let's see, that's too blue, so let's add a little bit of brown to that. A little bit of burnt sienna. Okay, here we go. There's our cuff over the top of the pants. And even though we've got a lot of paint on this canvas, you still have to work a little to get the paint on there. I'm pushing pretty hard. Okay, so that's about where my blue jean area is going to be. Come back up here to the top. Do that. Let's see. Let's keep going here. All right, so now, so let's paint over the chalk marks. Okay, so I like that. And that makes me pretty happy. Now let's see, what else could I paint while I'm in this general area? I've got a little bit of alizarin crimson, and I'm going to take a little bit of ultramarine blue, but mostly alizarin crimson now. I'm going to make sort of this red-purple color. And now I'm going to go over where this outside of this shoe is. You see I've changed this like that, a little bit of alizarin crimson, and right up into here. Okay, I can say that's this shoe. And I'll do the same thing down here on the bottom. Okay, a little bit of alizarin crimson, a little bit of ultramarine blue. You can mix paint right on the canvas, you know. You don't have to do it on your plate or your palette paper. I'm going to come down here on this heel. Now, I'm very careful with this. See how my arm is just painting in that high heel, and I'm following these brush strokes very carefully. Now, one of the disadvantages of painting over chalk is you start picking up chalk like you would sand. And so your brush starts to clog. So the trick is, every once in a while, just take a minute and rinse all the paint out of your brush, squeeze it again like this, and come back and keep going. I don't want to go down too far, but I got a little bit up here on the top. Let's see, a little bit of blue. Oh, there we go, like that. Let's say here's the top of this shoe. I'm going to come around like that. Now, even though the shoe in the picture, I understand it's orange, this is the color underneath the color underneath the color, which is what I need. Now I'm mostly into alizarin crimson at this point. Okay, it's coming this way. All right, and as long as I've got that color, I might put a little more of that up here. Yeah, let's see, where else can I put? I want a dark color underneath this. So I think I've got it though. I've got a dark color under here. I've already got blue under there, so we're pretty good up here. And the same thing here. Here's our strap, the shoe, doing that. So much easier when you've painted all this in. It's just, you know, when you've drawn all this in, this is really very simple. This is the inside of the pant leg right here. Okay. Now what else could we do? I mean, we've got this going, and I don't want to stop and dry anything. But I do know that I want, you know, something else. So let's see, what else could I do? Well, before I start having to dry, I could take a little bit of yellow oxide on my brush like this, and I could say that this is the inside of this heel right here like that. Well, my brush is dirty, so it's still not gonna be pure, but there you go. That's just, there's the inside of this heel. Like that. You see how thin this brush will get. Thin line coming down here. And now, all under here, this yellow oxide color.
Slide the canvas down a little bit.
I'm going to come down. Ooh, I get to use all the buttons. Here we go. Come down like this.
Awesome.
All right. Here we go. We've slid that down. I'm going to take that and a little bit of ultramarine blue, I think, because I want this kind of green. Now, I'm going to come under here like that. Sort of the bottom of this shoe. And paint this in here like this. Now, if I need water, rather than dip in the water, I'm going to put a tiny bit of water over here on my palette, just spray some, because I just want a few drops of water. That's where people don't understand. You don't need, most people put too much water on the brush, and I just need a little drop of it. We're not using any blending gel or anything for something like this. And this is, your underpainting is going to show through. The blue, that's the whole idea why you painted it dark blue in the first place, okay? Say that this is coming up like this. I'm going to get a little bit of yellow and yellow oxide. I'm going to come up this way. Ooh, like that. Come around like this. Pinch the brush. There we go. Now, let's take a little bit of our green color. Just come under here like that. There we go. Just whenever you need to make a straight line, just make a fatter one and then skinning it up with another color underneath. See, that's how I got this nice yellow line right here. I got a little kind of green outline next to it. Okay, and then I'm going to take a little more yellow, and I'm going to say that I want a little bit of a yellow outline right like this. Now I want this to be a little lighter, so all I have to do now, you saw how much paint I had. Notice the direction of my brush strokes. As long as you're watching me paint up, you know, which is how normally I paint, is vertically, not flat. I'm going to pinch my brush and then use just the side of it and blend this out like that. So I want a little bit lighter right here. Okay, so I'm going to go back and get a few little bit of green colors. Green is, you know, ultramarine blue and yellow. A little bit here. Now I'm going to make this line very small here. You see how I'm just coming next to this? Like that, using the side of my brush. Notice my fingers bracing my hand. You're not using your little finger to brace your hand. You're missing out. So that is a great thing to do. There we go. The same thing here. Okay, so now I'd like this a little bit rounder. And if I need some detail, I'm going to take a smaller ruby satin silver brush like this. Just flatten it out. That's why I want a palette where I can flatten it out. And I want to just come up here like this. You see my little fingers bracing my hand? I want to make the curve here. Make sure I have that toe curved right over the chalk. I'm going to say here's I want some yellow. I know I want some yellow going this way. And flatten this out. Here we go. Look at that. Just like that. Ooh, pretty. All right, so there, put the other brush in water. Now, if I want to erase something, this only works if you've dried something. If you want to erase something, I'm going to pinch it, clean brush, and just come over here and maybe just thin this line down a little bit right there like that. Rinse, wipe, swipe. Okay, I'm going to just erase this line right here. Rinse, wipe, swipe. There we go. All right, so there's that. Now, let's see, what else could we paint as long as we're happily painting? Well, okay, so here is some Cad Red Medium. And I'm going to add that. I'm going to take some Alizarin Crimson and Cad Red Medium and come over here like this on my plate. I'm on the palette now, John, if you want to switch cameras down to the palette. And see where I'm sort of using this gray palette to sort of mix the colors. And now I want to come like this.
Go ahead and drop it. You're going to work on the shoe. Drop it down some more.
Okay, I'm going to drop it down a little bit like that. Just work on this shoe, right? All right, now I'm just going to, that's Alizarin Crimson, Cad Red Medium. Okay. Now, it's going to be a darker color because it's going over dark blue, all right? I'm going to start bringing that up into the shoe like that. I haven't dried anything, but you know the lights are pretty bold here. Okay, so let's just come along here like this and make sure we have this nice line. Okay, same thing here. Let's pull this a little bit darker red here. We'll work on the shoe. I think this painting is very nostalgic for me. I don't know why I like this subject so much. I mean, I don't own a lot of high heel shoes. I find that I was so tall anyway that back when I was in high school, I was taller than most of the boys. Nowadays, I'd be considered just average, but back when I was younger, I was considered very tall. And so, you know, just didn't do to be wearing high heels places. So my sister, who was 5'2", she always was into heels. She was like Imelda Marcos with the shoes. I never saw anybody with so many shoes. I really didn't like buying shoes. I would go to the store and buy, you know, matching heels and matching purses, and I'd get it all at once, and you couldn't get me back. I find I've got some. It was never my thing. I'm into a little Dioxazine Purple now. I need a little bit of a dark right here, a little shadow under here like that. And I'm going to wipe my brush. Get in the habit of pinching your brush. Kind of just smoke that out, like a little shadow. There you go. Now, got a little Dioxazine Purple. And let's see, let's get something a little darker right here. Coming around. And I think I want a little Cad Red Medium. Just flatten it out. I'm going to come up here like this. Like that. And one of the notes that some people say they have trouble drawing straight lines. Notice you can see this with the full thing. See, you can put your little finger here, but now look. I'm moving my body as much as I am moving the brush. See that? As much as I'm moving the brush, I'm moving my body. Okay? And here we go like that. Here's this little red coming down around here like this. Twist that brush. There's a little red here this way. Use the side of it like this. Even though these are red shoes, they're in shadow there. Okay, so then the front of this is redder, see, like that. And we may come back. We'll address this a little bit. We'll come back and add some more color to the top of this, but we're getting it. And let's just be sure we go ahead and get the strap in here like that, coming across the top of the foot. Make sure when you're drawing this in, make sure you've got this curved here. This would be something, or I could see people would maybe miss that they wouldn't know to do that. And if there's a shadow right here where it's attaches to the shoe, and you can either use purple or ultramarine blue, like that. Just come up like that and lift. Come lift like that. Lift up. Airplane taking off on a runway, and I've got some dark blue.
Bring it down a little more.
I'm going to bring it down a little bit more here, like this.
Keep going.
Keep going. All right, this is fun, you guys. There we go. We'll bring this down.
There you go.
All right, now we're going to come this way under here like this. And I know I wanted something dark right there. Dark blue shadow, really, ultramarine blue. There we go. There we go, a little bit darker under here like this. Now, that's pretty good as far as, well, not completely, because we could come. Can you still see this heel, John, if I come down like this, or do I need to go up now?
We're going to be down for a while here. You're going to have to go back down.
Go back up, you mean?
Back up, yeah.
All right, let me just bring this up here. Just work on this right here. I'm going to come down here on the heel, right about there. A little bit more up. And this is fun. Don't you like my easel? This is all done with my just on foot pedals. How cool is that? Come on, you guys. This is cool. Really cool, right? Now, if I want to do the skin tones on the foot, I'll have to dry all that. And I just don't feel like doing that right now because this is going to want to dry by itself. So all I have to do is just get some more ultramarine blue out. Now, a good trick would be to leave the colors out that you're working on, which I have right here. The colors I'm working on, I'm leaving kind of close by. But here's a little more of the magenta. Okay. So here's that, a little bit of red here. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to come next to here above this shoe, and I'm going to start painting this. I think I want a little purple, Dioxazine Purple. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to come up here like this and give this a second coat on this top corner. Is this high enough, John? You can see all this, right?
You're going to be up there. Take it back up.
Take it back up a little bit more even, okay?
Bring it down.
Bring it down.
Yeah.
Right about here?
Yeah. Going.
Keep going. Keep going. Okay?
Keep going.
Keep going. All right.
Right there.
All right, so I'm just going to paint over these chalk lines. Okay, as you see, this is our next coat of color here. It's a little Dioxazine Purple. I like that color, Dioxazine Purple. Some years ago, this was back when Cinnamon was in junior college here in Tomball, Texas. She was going to Tomball Junior College, and she was taking an art class, and there weren't enough bodies, and her class was not going to make. And if you live in the neighborhood, you can, if you're a resident, you get like a deal on any courses they offer up there. And so I said, well, I'll tell you what, my friends and I will take the class with you. That way they won't cancel the class. And here's my thinking on this, and I'll tell you why. The idea is that you can learn something from every art teacher. And you know what I learned? There's this lovely lady, her name was Bonnie Newman, and she was teaching back then. She'd just gotten a degree, a master's degree in art to teach it. And she was all about tools, and she showed me how to stretch a canvas. And I have showed thousands of people since how to stretch a canvas, really hundreds of thousands of people. Had 750,000 views on this one video before the lady that made it took it down on how to stretch a canvas, a fine art canvas. I still have it up, we re-put it up, but at one time I had 750,000 views on that, you guys, all right? So I just want to say that, but I really got to give credit to Bonnie Newman, who also, I'm going to just come under here and lighten this up a bit. Can you guys see what I'm doing here, down here? Do I have to go up, John? Can you see this?
Yeah, I got the big view.
All right, so I'm just coming up here. I'm just kind of getting rid of these chalk lines now, right, like this, and putting some of this background color in that we just did, right? Our grid here, like this. There we go. See? Now, you see how this is coming along? Everybody thought this would take a long time. John was not sure how long this would take me to paint in. Everybody says, how long does it take you to paint something? I rarely like to tell anybody that, because then they think that, well, it must not be very good. It didn't take you very long to paint it. You know, and that's just not true. It took me 50 years to learn how to paint something in 10 minutes. How's that? I mean, you gotta figure like that. So now I'm still working on the blue jeans. John, so you're with me here on that?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to come up here like that with some light blue. Come over the top of this shoe. Guess we're going to go like this. And wherever there's a light, there's a dark. So if you want something to show up that's dark, puts a light next to it. Now that's sort of a nice, that sounds, pretty straightforward to do that, but we're going to go ahead. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that right now, that that's a too light rather. Let's darken this up. Okay, there you go. Just add a little bit of red. You see, using the same color palette, I'm just sort of mixing colors as I go. All right. Now, okay, I know I want this color up here like this. I want some of this color up here, over there, like that. And let's see, what do we want here? A little bit of, we want some white to come up this way. We'll make this sort of, these little folds in this jean, like this. These blue jeans, they're sort of this raggedy cuff. That's a lot of jeans that are a little bit like that. And pull it up this way. So you put a little white on the brush. This is still wet. Start on the edge and just lift up like this and lift. Kind of fast. Okay. This little, and I've got a little curve on these. Okay, I'm going to just lighten that one up here like this. Okay, now if you get too much, don't panic. You're working between two blues, Ultramarine Blue and Phthalo. So it's sort of a combination of these two blues on these cuffs. So not trying to get too tricky on you. I'm going to come back up here with a little of the Ultramarine Blue up here. Darken this. Okay, like that. And this almost has a blue-green feel to it, so I'll add a little bit of the yellow oxide to the blue too. There we go. Now, here we go. I'm coming up like that. And I still need a little bit more of this kind of raggedy, ooh, too much. Now what do you do when you do something like that? Well, just take it off. Paint it out. It's okay. It paints over. Okay, and if I want a little white there, I'll tone that down later. Okay, I'm still going to come here like that and do this. Down. There we go. Now, one thing I'm going to do is mist my paint one more. I've got all these hot lights sitting on here. I'm going to give my paint and mist a little place there for water on the brush. Now, I want to come in here like that. There's some little green, some little ultramarine blue. I'm going to mix right here on the canvas like this. There we go. Now, a little bit more white. And here like that, and pinch your brush off. Okay, so I'm all about color. Now, one thing I will say is that I'd like to tone down this color a little bit. So I'm going to take some burnt umber now and tone down my brown. Little tiny bit of burnt umber, and that's raw umber would be good too. I just happen to have any handy, so I'm going to use a little bit of burnt umber. Burnt umber will just sort of gray your colors a little bit. Just gray them a little bit, burnt and raw umber. There we go. This gives it a little bit of a green cast, which is what I want for these blue jeans. These are all faded blue jeans, kind of like most of the ones I own. All faded. And now coming down like this. Got to get more paint. Okay, too much blue, put a little brown with it, put a little white.
Go ahead and bring the palette up.
Gonna bring the paint picture up a little bit. There we go. Let's just bring this up a little bit now. We're coming up here like this. Just start bringing this down. See what I mean?
Yeah.
So here we go, like this. Now, what happens down here? Well, and this is just, you just paint this in sections. I'm going to come along here like this and say that there's this light section right here, like that. Probably pinch the brush, and then here right underneath it like this. These blue jeans. And I've got some jeans that are right. See, everybody knows that we had to, the jeans are kind of under here. Did you guys notice that too? That there's some blue jeans under the shoe. There we go. And I'll put a little bit more of the burnt umber with that. Again, don't get in the habit of mixing colors right on your canvas. Maybe a little ultramarine blue right here. Darken this up. Pinch the brush and then just sort of mix that together as we go. I see people spending hours mixing colors, trying to get the right color before they're willing to put any color on the canvas. And we could get you over that. That'd be good. Here's some light blue up here. I'm going to come under here like this. Now I want some brush strokes going this way. I'm going to rinse my brush out because paint's been drying in it. Pinch it off. Keep going. Every once in a while, just stop and rinse your brush. All right, like that. Here's some blue going this way. And I need a little bit of white. There you go. There we go. This is just pretty much this blue jean color that I'm using. That's too bright. Oh, maybe a little magenta in that might be pretty. There we go. A little bit of brown. A little more blue. There we go, perfect. Coming up like this. People say, well, did the brush directions your brush strokes come? Yeah, sure. There's some folds and stuff going this way, so at some point, sure, it makes a difference. Brush strokes make a big difference. You know that you've got something coming under here like this. See, we're going to sort of thin that up now. The bottom of those cuffs, and we got a dark line under here like that. I love these because I can do such a thin line or a fat line. I love these ruby satin silver bright brushes for that very reason. You've got so much versatility with them. Let's see, I want to come across here like this and do a little bit of something like this. A little bit greener. Let's try a little. There we go. Let's just change the color on this. That's perfect. In here like this. This is our seam. You know, that seam that goes down the jeans. And come all the way down here. Now when we get down to here, we've got a fold that's coming this way. I've got one that's coming across here like that. Got another one that's coming this way, another one that's coming like that. I'm pinching my brush every time I do it. Okay. Blend that in. There we go. It's a little foot fold. Now, so I want to just make sure I have this kind of where it goes. I've got a deep one here. Got sort of right about here. I've got a little fold. So what happens there? Well, you got to put the shadow side in there. Here's the shadow. Remember, we haven't dried anything, so it's sort of tacky. It's not really wet, but on the other hand, it's tacky. Let's see. Let's just take this and come this way, like that with that, and then on this side, let's do this. And now we've created a fold. See that? You can still see this, John? We got a good stuff on this. Now, okay, so I've got a good little fold here, and I know I want a little darker seam right here, a little shadow under this one. See, I don't want that color, but that's okay. Don't panic. Everybody panics when they put the wrong color on. I didn't want that. What am I going to do? Mix on the canvas. There, okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of magenta with that. Now let's darken that up a little bit. That's our dark seam here. Down here like this. Got a dark seam under here, got a dark seam under there. See, we're starting to get the folds, right? Then I'm looking to see where else can I put that color. I need something dark up here. And I want it a little bit darker here where it's coming down for the seam, like that. A little bit darker on this side, because eventually that chalk's going to be gone, so we're going to be relying on our dark colors. So here we go. Let's see now. Let's just take this off here. Use the side of the brush and just melt this away. And again, time to rinse the brush. Now, I don't have any paint on here, just a little water. Just a damp brush, and I'm going to use that to just sort of blend this out. Do you see what I just did? I'm going to blend this out because I don't have any paint on this brush at all. Oh, that's a trick. I don't think I've showed you guys that before. See, I'm just a little water, just I'm fuzzing that out, just a little water, softening this. All right, that's working. Now let's come back up here. I think I'm still okay here. I think, oh, we gotta lighten this up. Now here's where you might want some mixing white. Did I bring any over? I did. Here, let's just put some over here. So mixing white is a transparent white. And here's why we want that, because I want something light here, but I don't want to lighten it up that much. So titanium would lighten this up too much, and I want to give the feeling of that, that kind of that bleached look on the jeans, right, like that, kind of more. And this is a very transparent white right here. Same thing here, like this, very transparent, coming up here like this, and maybe here, and for sure over here like this. We've got this little tiny, right where my, and then, look, when it comes over the fold, it curves like this and down. I want you guys to see that it just curves out and curves down like that. And then we've got maybe just using the brush and lifting up like that. Okay, so there's that. And let's see, let's pull some white this way. A little bit of white under here like this. And how about up here? Okay, so now we've got, still in the mixing white. And take a little bit under here and bring it up on the edge of this frayed cuff here. Let's see, where else do I want something? Maybe a little light right here. A little bit of light right next to the shoe. Okay. Right next to that shoe. There you go, like that. Okay. Let's come back up to it. I'm coming back up to the top shoe now with that mixing white. I need to move the thing.
Yeah.
Or I'm good.
Yeah, if you're going to stay up there, you're going to drop her down.
All right, so I'm just dropping this down. I want to come up here a little bit. Now this has had a chance. Keep coming. All right, keep him coming down here. This has had a chance to. So I'm just going to soften this like this, barely touch it. There we go. See, I'm just softening that over that white, just softening that a little bit. Okay. There we go. Just on a little bit of a lighter edge, right here, like this, and then pull it this way. See, just blend that out. Pull it that way, and same thing here. Okay. Now, okay, so I think what I had here that I didn't have in this thing is that this is curves a little bit. This curves out a little bit and comes down like that. There, let's fix that. It's a little more wiggly than I painted it, and I can do that. I can make it wiggly. Make sure that this little seam is wiggly. Now we're coming down here like this, maybe something right here, up here. Okay. All right, now do I need anything else? Well, maybe up here,
up here at the top, you know, remember that's too blue. Let's put some red. Here's our blue jeans, right? I want something dark right here. A little purple maybe. There we go, a little purple. That's nice, I like that. Now I'm going to rinse the brush. Wipe it, always wipe it, and then just take that and just blend that out. Take some light blue, put it in here, pinch the brush, just use the side of this like that. Just blend that out. So I've got a little shadow there. It's coming here. I like how this is painting in. Okay. There we go. Now we still have to paint these feet and everything. This is all dried, so I'm going to start with a clean brush. I'm going to rinse the brush out, and I'm going to work on the feet a little bit. So here's my white, and I'm going to start in a new place with the white. This is important when you're painting. You want to make sure that when you're putting out your colors, if you've been using white to mix, put it out in a new place. So I'm going to start with a little white here. Then I want a little yellow. I want a tiny bit of Cad Red Medium. And maybe a little magenta. I'm going to make this sort of skin tone color, and we'll go up from there. So I'm going to say that there's my skin tone on my foot. It's a little orange right now, but I got to put something. I could have just painted it white, but I might. This is titanium now, not mixing white. I'm going to start with this, and then I will go what we call up or down from here. All right. So here's my top of my foot, and it's going to take a little bit to cover this dark blue. I gotta tell you that this is not going to cover in one coat, so don't panic if yours doesn't. But I'm telling you what, if you're using student grade paints, try to buy professional titanium. You know, that's what I would tell you. If you're using student grade paints, try to get at least titanium white and professional grade, because you want the coverage. Very frustrating to put paint on a canvas and have nothing cover. Here's a little white here now. Top of the foot. Blend that out. Okay, like this, and then I know I want a little bit, this little Cad Red Medium and magenta. Put that over there. And I can remember this is all the same color. Now I'm going to just blend this in as I go, like that. So I want a little bit darker on this side of the shoe. And there might be a little reflection coming up here like this from the shoe, a little bit of red, and this for sure has a little bit of a red tint to it. Got to see how we're painting that in. Rinse the brush, wipe it. Now, there we go. Now, did I get over a little bit into the band? Yeah, I did. I don't care. I'll pick the red and put it back. We know where it goes. Okay, now as long as I'm in these colors, though, now in fairness, as long as we're in these colors, pinch the brush and then blend that in. Okay, so say I want a little bit darker down toward the shoe. I'm going to just erase a little bit. I can almost create a vein in the foot by just doing this and just then flatten it over like that. Just creates a little crease there. All right, something like that. Okay, now, what do I know for sure? I know that I got to bring this around here like this. This is coming this way, that way. The top of that. Now, if I want to do anything else to this, I'll have to dry it. All right, that's what I got to tell you. I'll have to dry it. If anything else has to happen with this skin tones and stuff in the shoe, I'd have to dry it. But for sure. Let's put our little red back right here like that. Okay. And then I'll put my purple back like that. Look how thin I can make that line because I'm sneaking it up on it with a little purple. Okay. All right, so I'm going to move this up now, John. I'm going up a little bit.
Okay.
Before I do, I'm going to come up. I'm just going to take this and just paint the top of this foot back. There, I want this band back, all right? So I'm letting this dry, and I'm going to come up a little bit. I'm going to raise this easel. I want you to see, how long have we been painting on this, John?
About 40 minutes.
About 40 minutes. Well, we'll see what we can do with this, okay? You can see I'm getting there, right? I want to be in this area now here. Tell me about right here?
Not yet. Keep going.
Keep going. Oh, don't you love this electric easel? All right, so I'm going to go in this area right here. All right, so now, so I'm going to rinse the brush. And I'm going to put the other shoe tone in here. Now I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to add a little bit of burnt sienna and to the mixture, the foot mixture. This foot's a little bit darker. Put that in here like this. And remember, this is going over green. So a little bit of raw sienna. It's a little bit darker down here. And take a little bit of the raw sienna and just actually put it right on here like that. There we go. For some reason, when I was looking at the photograph that I took this from, this shoe was a little darker down here like this. Where the foot, well, it probably was in shadow from the camera, you know. Okay, now, see, I made this shoe, made this foot slightly darker. Now, I like that, and I'm going to come back down. I'm leaving that alone for a minute. I'm going to come back down. I'm going to get the shoe. I want to get this one up here a little bit. Put a little bit of that dark color right here, like that, in this corner. There, okay, so now it's like whenever you put it in one color, you want to put it somewhere else. And let's see. Now, one of the things I could do that would be very helpful to me is I could take a clean rag like this in some water now. And I'm going to just erase my chalk. I'm going to try to paint over it. I'm just going to erase it. I'm going to stay away from what I just painted, right? Okay, like that. I'm going to erase the chalk down here. All right, just a little bit better. Well, I erased more of the shoe than I wanted to, but that's okay. I'm going to erase this chalk because that makes me a little happier to see that this is gone. Here we go. Chalk erases. Now I can see where I want to be overall and get the idea of how cute this picture is going to look when this is all filled in. So let's take, see, we've got the brush back. Let's work on our blue jeans now a little bit more here. We can work on those. And let's see, I'm going to just, can't do anything about that right this minute. This has to dry, so I think I need to bring this out a little bit, this foot out a little bit like that. A little lighter right there, okay. And I want to bring our shoe back a little more than I have it. I'm going to just say that there's less foot being shown here, like this. Okay, the top of the shoe is pretty dark. And then we have the bottom of the shoe, which I can now start putting in. Just down here, canvas. I'm using Dioxazine Purple in case you're wondering what color I've got going down here.
Go ahead and raise the canvas. Keep going.
Okay. All right, so now you can see I'm working on this shoe now. And here's the toe of it. Coming out this way, curving it out.
Again, I can't say enough the importance of making sure when you start painting something and nothing happens, get more paint. This is coming under here like this, and I'm pinching it, and we've got some yellow right here like that. Okay. It's the yellow heel, and then we've got a little bit like this. It's coming down right like this. No, a little fatter than I want. That's okay. This is still wet, but I'm just going to come under here like that. It's that. And I want to take a little bit of that color and just come up here like this. Maybe a little yellow oxide. Come up here like this on the heel, like this. And this is this kind of curves around like that. Okay. So, if we've got that there, then I'll rinse and pinch the brush and just bring that down a little bit. Just rinse, wipe, swipe, and just sort of bring that down a little bit. Just carve out a little bit of that line. There you go. So then carve this line out too. Let's just get rid of that. Chalk, okay. All right, so you can still see this foot, yes?
Yes.
All right, so John says you can still see this foot, so we're going to come up here like this with some Cad Red Medium. And now, it's one of my favorite colors because the more you put on, the brighter it gets. Okay. I want it nice and red right up in here like this. And as I get back to the back of the shoe, which is over here. Now, what about that? Well, I rinse the brush. Just water on it now. No paint. Split the difference on the seam right here. Just split the difference and fuzz it out. Just with a little water. That's how you end up without a striped looking tie looking thing. Okay, let's bring the purple down into here. That. And this, I didn't put it, but that shoe still had, there should have been a little red line right here too. I didn't put it in the sample when I was doing it, but there should have been a little red line right like this, and then this red's coming this way. All right, so now I'm going to just bring this purple out. I can see that I didn't get it far enough. I got to bring it out about here, like this. Pull this down. These were very strange little platform shoes. I thought these were the weirdest looking shoes, but I liked the whole idea of the picture, so I went ahead and I didn't change the shoe. I thought they were different enough to, they were almost fun. And let's see, is this, I think I still need to shorten this a bit. Okay, there we go. Shorten it right here, like that. There we go. Yeah. Shorten this. This is a toe. The toe has to be rounded. It's going to come up here like that. Okay. Awesome. All right, so let's work on the blue jeans a little bit while this is drying. Now, there should be, we need a little shadow under the foot right here. We need a little shadow right under here. Maybe we could do that with burnt sienna and burnt, let's see, a little bit of burnt umber maybe. I need a little shadow on the foot right here. Once something's dry, you can play with it a little bit here like that. Just sort of soften that and just smoke it out. You've been practicing painting clouds. It's not that different. Okay, so let's see. I think we said I'm going to do the blue jeans, but now I see where I'm going to just keep adding more red to the top of this foot on the toe. When that dries, again, we'll come back and do some more. Okay, so let's work on the blue jeans. Do I need to bring it up, bring it down? What do we need to do?
You need to bring it down so I can see it again.
Bring the blue jeans down a little bit. All right, so we still have phthalo blue. We've got white, a little yellow, almost a. There we go. It's kind of almost a green color. Do you see that? Just everything's about layers. People don't understand that. Just how long does it take you to paint something? Depends on how many layers you're putting in. It's just all about layers. And you'll see me all the time keeping a rag in one hand and wiping all the time like this. I'm going to lighten this up. Now, take a little water on the brush, rinse it off, wipe it. So my brush is just damp, no more paint, wipe. In here like this. It's not enough. Well, now we're layering. And so I think it helps to do a big painting like this because maybe you're not seeing how I'm doing it if I was doing something large. But this is how we're doing it. Just kind of like that. Put a little dark thing right under here like this. Where's our mixing white? A little edge here. And a lot of times when I'm doing this, if I wasn't talking to you, let's just pretend like you and I weren't chatting, okay? You and I were not chatting. There's a good chance that I would be up and down with this easel really fast, going up and down with the easel. Okay. I don't want a line here. Let me just make this clear. On this edge, at the bottom edge of this, I don't want a line. Really do not want a line. I want a light edge but no line. So how I'm going to get that is I'm going to put the paint here and then lift up like that. You see, I want to make sure I don't have a line. The line is just for me to know where to put the paint. Okay, and the same thing here. I want a little light area here, a little light area up here. You know, something like this where we've got a little line here. Something here, something here again. Okay, so now we're getting the feel of the blue jeans. And I see where I need to change something. Oh no, you got to change something? Absolutely. I'm going to darken this. Don't like that, so I'm darkening this. It's a little too blue. See that? A little too blue. A little phthalo, a little brown. Darken this. There we go. Glaze over that. Okay, darken that right there. Now, perfect. Now I need a little seam right here. There we go. That's a little bit of a fold. Here's our mixing white. Pinch the brush and then overlap. Soften that out. I think I need something going this way. Mixing white is perfect for this. There's a little something that's doing this, right? Okay, and then this is still doing that. And what do we got right here? We need something right here. All right, this is coming along, John, don't you think? I'm getting a little feedback from John here. One thing I would tell you is if you have a mirror at home, you should have a mirror in your studio. One thing that I'm missing, that I really miss, I'm going to tell you this. When I'm painting in Studio B, I can see everything I'm painting in a monitor, so I can automatically correct. And normally you'd want to back up, take a look at what you were painting, and come back and take a look. You need to stop, back up, take a look, all right? And I'm not able to do that. Eventually my goal is to have a monitor up here where I can see what I'm doing too. Okay, well that's going to be real important for me. Okay, you know, just something like that. Okay, now one of the things you know about blue jeans is they have all these lights and darks in them, and it's just kind of put a little paint on, and you just got all these lights and darks in them. Okay. There we go, a little bit of blue jean lights and darks. Okay. Where we want a little darker here, a little darker under here. Okay, I'm pretty happy with this so far as the blue jeans go. I think I might just let those sit for a minute. And let's see, what else could we do? Oh yeah, let's change brushes. Yeah, this is a small bright brush. This is same thing what I'm using, but the small, it's a short handle. It's a number 12. I want to go ahead and put in the heel of the shoe. I'll be working right here, John. Where would you like the camera, up or down?
Canvas needs to come down.
Okay. See how this painting's coming along? Okay. Keep coming. Okay. All right.
Good.
Okay, so now I'm going to come in here and say this is the end of the shoe here. Like this is sort of like it's like a horseshoe shape, like a U at the bottom of this, where the heel is. And I've got a little yellow, orange color coming over here, and this goes this way and like that, and there's a little bit of an orange color that's coming right up here on the side of this. Remember, we're artists. We're not we're not making a documentary about shoes. We're making an artist statement about shoes. So it's less about it being perfect and more about being interesting. How's that? Now, orange is the complement of turquoise, so anytime you can throw a little orange in somewhere, this is not a terrible plan. There's this shoe, there's that heel coming there. I want a little yellow oxide on it. There we go. Now, what gray is yellow? Do you guys remember? Purple. So if you've got something that's like, if you need a little bit of, you need to gray yellow. Magenta would gray it, purple would gray it. This magenta is really sort of a purple, and it's almost going into the greens though, here, right under here. There's almost a little bit of green to this on this heel, like this. We'll bring that around, blend that in. Got this a little wide here, but that's okay. Just don't panic about these things. Just come in here like that. See my little finger? It's right next to this canvas. Right like that. And you got a brush like this, you can do a pretty sharp line. See? You can sharpen that line up. And the same thing under here with the heel. I can come under here with this heel, taper this heel a little bit. Now could I tape this? Sure. Sure, but I'm going to come under here like this. Like that. Now I'm going to bring that down. Okay, so there you go. And that's working. Now, let's see, what else could we do? Oh yeah, so I see where this, I've got this curved a little bit too much here. I'm going to bring it up. Get a little paint and bring it up like this and bring it back down. Like that, up, there we go. Now, what about right here? Remember I said I wanted that lighter there. I'm going to work on this bottom of this shoe a little bit. Can you still see, John? I might have to move.
You have to bring it down and start going up.
Okay, so I go up, I'll bring it down. Right now we're working on this bottom of this shoe here, which we said was a little lighter right here. See, and then what you do is then you lift up, push and lift up. Okay, and let's come back into the Cad Yellow medium now. Come over our line here like this. Ooh. Second coat. Make sure you've got a curve. Make sure this is curving. Okay. And I want to make sure this is curving like this. Now rinse this brush. Pinch it. Come back with the yellow. I'm going to exaggerate these colors a little bit. Like that. And let's see, where else do I want this? Got the yellow going right like this. And I love these ruby satin silver brushes, these bright brushes. I've never found another brush that worked like this and gave me this kind of an edge. It's probably out there, I'm just saying I never found it. Okay, but that's the edge of this, and it works like a champ. There you go, like that. There, that's pretty. And I'm going to come back up. I'm going to bring this other way. I'm going to go all the way back up here. And I want to get more of this line on the bottom part of this foot here. And then we'll come back and work on the shoe. I'll put a little shadow under our heel here. Got the heel, okay.
Bring it down a little bit.
So bring it down just here, right like there. Okay, so now I'm still in the yellow. I want to come out a little bit from here like this. There we go. Okay, there's that one. They're crazy shoes, aren't they? I'm telling you what. And I'm going to come this way. Kind of running into the bottom of the canvas here. I'm pinching it. Now, guess who's out of purple? Me. So when you see you're out of paint, even at the end of your picture, please get a little more. Now, let's take a little purple here. We need to come up a little closer here. This was this inner shoe here like this. Cut it straight down and then curve it. Now, if you got that yellow line too big, you can cut it down with purple. Easy enough to do. Okay. All right, so I like that. Okay, and then let's see, what else do I like? Oh, yeah. Well, I'm in the mixing white and phthalo blue. I'm going to come up here like this on the edge of this. Even a little purple on the bottom of these blue jeans. That's pretty. And I want a dark line under here like this. Okay. There we go. All right, now what else could we do? Back up. So I'm going to bring this back down. So leaving those alone for a minute. Oh no, I've got to finish the shadow. So I remembered. I'm coming down here with the shadow. All right, that was a little ultramarine blue, a little bit burnt umber. I'm going to come under here.
Bring it up some more.
We'll bring it up a little bit more. We'll come under the shoe here like this with a little bit of a shadow. Okay.
You're down now.
Well, now down a little bit, right?
And one more.
A little more down. All right, so I'm going to come under here with the shadow of the shoe, like that. Okay, so that's important. There's not any real shadows in this picture except this shadow under the shoe, like that. Just a little bit right here. There we go. And I'm going to put a little bit of green with that. Okay, so what do I know? Well, I know that I want a little bit of light purple, which is a little white and purple here. I want a little bit of a light purple right here on this heel. I'm going to stop it right here, this heel. I really want a little bit of a shadow. It's just, I don't know, I want something there. Maybe a little magenta. There, like this. Just need more color in this shoe that I'm getting. I didn't get it in the other picture, but this is what being an artist is about. You know, when you're talking about, do you need to change the angle of something? Like here's this heel. It's got to come around here like this now. Change the angle of that. Okay, good. Now, let's see. I had another color I was using. What would that be? All right, this is Matisse Deep Scarlet. It's a number 7. I'm going to put that on this shoe. And I'm going to just start. That's my brightest red. It's called Deep Scarlet. If you don't have that, you can just use Cad Red Medium. But now I want you to see the difference. And look at this color. Do you guys see that? Look at how beautiful this color is. Now, is that a color or what? This is a number 7. There's nobody else that's got a color like this that I know about. Anyway, I want to be careful what I say, but I do not know of anybody else that's got a color that's this bright. And this is your red. But if you didn't have it, you would use Cad Red Medium. This is our next layer of color. This is our next layer of kind of red here. We want this to be nice and bright, and then we're mixing it with a little bit of a magenta down here toward the bottom. like that. It's coming up here on the shoe like that. After all, these are supposed to be red shoes that are in shadow, so we're just gonna come around the toe like that. There we go. A little bit of red here, coming up here like this. I like that color a lot. I'm gonna put it right here too. There. I'm sorry, I gotta know. Let's put that color here. And then we can take a little tiny bit of white. If you're not sure about this, just wait till it dries to do it. Now we're going to bring this all down. We're going to fix that other shoe. I know we're kind of going over on time a little bit here, but we weren't sure how long it would take to do this.
Keep going.
Keep going. All right, we're going to work on this shoe a little bit here.
Keep going.
Keep going. We're going to work all up in here, okay?
Keep going.
Okay.
Stop there.
All right. So one of the things we know for sure is a little Cad Red medium. We need to bring the band here a little bit like that, over here like this. Then I'm going to take a little of that scarlet color. Look at that. Look how bright that is. Isn't that pretty? Here's our red. It's going to come down here like this around our shoe. Now let's get some color on this shoe, you guys. Look at that. Let's get some. This is what makes this painting so pretty. So let's get the color on these shoes. Oh, I love that. That's that scarlet color. Look at that. Red shoes. Bring that up like this. Now, as you get down toward here, you add a little magenta to it. Okay, once you get down toward the yellow line. And so it gets a little darker down here. Then it's coming this way, and then you're going to bring it up and lift. Just barely touch it. Feather that up into this dark. Feather this all up into here, like that. Let's do the same thing. See, I've got the same thing here. Let's get the top of this. Okay. Now I'll do the same thing here. I'll use a little Cad Red medium. I don't want quite as bright here. A little Cad Red medium here. And say we're going to bring this down here like this. Just kind of dry brush this. I'm pinching most of the paint off now. Just wiping it off and coming under here like this. Where's our purple here? A little bit of purple on the brush and then mix that in. This is where you can adjust these lines a bit. There we go. Blend that out. Blend a little purple out here. You notice we haven't used a hairdryer. This is such a big canvas that we haven't had to dry very much because by the time I get around to doing the next thing, it's already dry. I gotta tell you that, it's already dry. Now, okay, now let's see, how are we doing here like that? I want a little bit of magenta right here on the toe. Just blend that in. Do it again, maybe even a little blue. A little ultramarine blue if I'm going to do it. Kind of darken that down here so then it gets, so the brightest color is up in here, okay? The same thing right here. We'll take a little bit of bright color right here. A little bit bright here and like that. Up on the ankle. Now, I think at this point, what I would have to do for me, what I'd have to do is just pause the video, and I'd have to stand up and look back at this, and then bring the whole thing up and look back and see if I need to change anything. You know, if that's doing something. I encourage you to do that. Do I need to add anything? Need to change anything? Do I need to brighten anything? What do I need? What do I need to do? Do I need to bring anything else in or out? Now I still don't have the highlights here, the white highlights, but there's some white highlights on the top of this. But let's just blend this out for a minute. And there was a little purple here. Okay, got the purple here a little bit. A little bit darker under here, like that. A little bit darker right under here, like this, with this heel. Make sure I've got this heel nice and dark. And a little magenta up in here, like this, because these are technically red shoes. A little bit of magenta up in here to work that in there. Okay, and still looking, see what else. I'm going to sit there and say I'm going to make this line darker next to this green one. Make it a little smaller. Okay. I think I want a little brighter line here like this, a couple places on the heel. Doesn't hurt. Okay, can I get away, if I pinch, can I get away with some white right across here like this? Pinch the brush, do it again up here like this. Is just, if I didn't dry it, then I have to be very careful what I'm doing. And almost let this white float on top of here like that, barely touch it. And here's some more white right here on the toe, a little accent on the toe, like that. Okay. All right, John, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the picture up to eye level. And then what I need to do is actually stop the video and stand back and look at it and see what I need to do. And then what I'm going to do is I'll come back and tell you that if I need any changes, I'll come back and tell you. But I would say that we're pretty close to being done with this. What do you think? Do you think this looks pretty done to you?
I think we need to step back and take a look at it like you said.
Yeah, we need to step back and take a look at it, see if there's anything else we need to do to it. If anything, it would be this bottom shoe down here I might make an adjustment with. And maybe a little of the green, and make sure I've got all that off here. This is what you do. Just kind of take a look at it and see, what do I need to do? And here's a little Cad Red medium up here, a little bit of bright. Oh, there. Okay. So I'm going to bring this up a little bit. Let's see. Tell me when to stop. Bring this up to eye level and we'll take a look at our picture. See if we need to add anything else. For sure we need to get rid of some chalk. Okay. So for sure I need to get rid of some chalk. And what I might do too is just get a little bit of, there were some white highlights right here on this foot. That are pretty. Just exaggerate the white on there a little bit. And, oh yeah, there was a little white up here too. And up here too, look at that little bit of white right up here. Okay. Alright, so let's just pause, you guys, what I got so far. And I'll just stand back and look at it and see if there's anything else I want to change. It's acrylic, so you can change anything. Okay, so I took a minute. I studied the picture, I went back, and then I made some adjustments. Now, I haven't done them yet, but I've chalked in what I need to fix. And this is important. If you need to, put your picture in a mirror, hold it upside down, do something. Don't ask your friends. Just stop with the asking friends. Ask yourself, okay? Start with asking yourself. If you need to, make a black and white, a photo of it, and look and see if you have enough contrast, enough lights and darks. Did you get your lines right? What are they going to do? Now, in my case, for instance, when I was looking at this, I noticed that over here, that there's such a long run on the heel that I'm using artist tape to get this heel correct. And so I'll go ahead. The first thing we're going to do is fix this heel, all right? So I'm going to take that small bright brush, and I'm going to just take, I know that heel. So I'm going to bring down the canvas a little bit right here, like this, right? And right in here, okay? We're going to work on this heel, okay? Now I'm going to just come in here like this, and I'm going to just a little bit of magenta, a little ultramarine blue, and I'm going to just go ahead, I'm going to paint this heel like that. I want to make sure that I have this heel very straight, all right? Now on the other side, conversely, up on the top here, I want to take some dark blue and paint that out. And the same thing here, a little bit of white maybe there, like this. There we go. So I'm going to just say, here's our heel. Now let me just peel this tape off. Do you see it? Now, isn't that cool? Now I'm going to do it here. Okay, like that. Now, sort of. So now I've got a better line here. Still have to take a little magenta and come up here like this and just bring that up here, and then widen this here like that. Or see where my chalk was? I'm going to widen that right there. Here's the underside of this. Okay. Okay. So that does look better to me. All right. Now then, up here, can you see me up here? Am I up high enough?
You have to drop down a little more.
We're going to drop down a little bit more. I'm going to kind of smooth this out here like that, the underside of this. All right. Put a little bit of white with that. That's too dark. A little bit of, a little yellow oxide. Right, there you go. Okay. There we go. Just drop this down like this. I think I want a little green with this. A little bit of green in here. And a little bit more yellow and white. I'm trying to get just the color. Now I'm going to just wipe my brush and then work that in. A lot of this is me mixing colors right on the canvas. I know that's a little weird, but then do that. Now I'm going to come under here like this with the dark blue. Skinny that up. See the little finger holding onto there like that? There we go. Now, can you see me over here, John? Can you see me over here?
You gotta drop some.
All right, so we're going to drop down here a little bit. This is important stuff. We're going to work on this whole shoe. Now, I decided, looking at this, that this and this needed to line up. So we're going to have to kind of paint that out right like that. There we go. All right, now I'm still into the blues, kind of green color. I'm going to come up here like this. Now that's too dark, so I'll pinch my brush and add a little yellow to it. Pinch my brush and then mix on the canvas. All you have to do, you don't have to keep mixing on your palette. Come back like this. Now where the chalk is where I need it to be bright yellow, so then I'm just going to tap that right over the chalk like that. There you go. See, just like that. And then we've got to fix this. Remember, I kind of went over the edge here. I'm going to fix that right like that. And that magenta is still wet, so probably should have dried it. But if I don't, I can come back. But that has to be fixed right here, okay? Even if I have to dry it. I've got a hairdryer sitting here. I'm just sort of trying not to use it. Here we go. There we go. A little bit of yellow. Sometimes it doesn't hurt. Want maybe brighten this up. I've still got this Cad Yellow medium. And there we go. Just lighten this up again right here. All right, now up here on this foot, I need to bring up here, right up here on this foot. I need to bring the curve of this S curve up here. A little bit of ultramarine blue and magenta. I need to come up here like this with the shoe. See that? See how it has to have this little S curve? Like that. There you go. See, that's all that stuff kind of makes a difference. I'll come back over here and flatten this out. Don't have any globs of paint. Keep it flat. Okay. Now, here we go. Right over the chalk. There we go. Right, there we go. There we go. So here's this like this. Coming here like this. And I'll just make it a bit darker. There we go. So now we've got the S curve there, and I'm happy about that. So you're saying, well, what about some, I think we decided we needed to come out here with the heel. And so I need to round this heel out a little more, a little Dioxazine Purple Magenta. Okay, come out here like this, round that heel out, and then bring it in. There we go. There, beautiful. All right, now, what else could I do to the top of this foot? I wanted to do something with these blue jeans right here. And this is what you do when you're doing a painting. People says, how long does it take you to do it? Well, some some people will sit there and look at a painting for 2 years and come back and change it. Don't do that. This is what you did today. This is what you did. This is how you were feeling. Maybe you had to take one of the kids to the doctor, and the dog was sick, and somebody stole your garden hose or whatever. Maybe whatever kind of day you're having. This is what you painted, and just celebrate that. Sometimes painting can be real stress relief, and don't worry if you don't have it perfect. Okay, it's not important to get it perfect. Try to do the best you can and say, this is what I learned, and what did I learn today? Sometimes you learned a lot of ways not to paint something. And that's all you learned. There's a lot of different ways not to paint something, and that's valid. My granddaughter Honey one time, when she was, I don't know, I think she was like 4 or 5 maybe, we'd gotten her a skateboard. I'd gotten her a skateboard. I'm the grandmother. I buy these things. And her mother and I went to this park. And we didn't know anything about skateboards. Neither she didn't have one when she was a kid. We lived in the country, so there's no point in giving her one. But she didn't have one. So we didn't know how to tell her how to ride it, but we got her some sort of skateboard scooter thing, I think it was. Whatever it was, skateboard scooter thing. Honey didn't know how to ride it. But there were these bigger kids, and they were going down a ramp with one. So she hauls her little skateboard up there, and her mother and I are sitting there on the bench thinking, this is a really bad idea, but we don't want to discourage her, okay? And she just goes, so she sees the other kids doing it. She goes down the ramp, and she literally just takes a terrible, what my ex-husband, Cinnamon's dad, would call a Donnybrook, just really, really falls, okay? And that's okay, you know what I mean? I'm going to put a little blue here, just kind of pop that up a bit. There we go. And she just kind of takes a fall, and then she doesn't cry. I'm waiting for her to come running to the car crying or something. No, doesn't do that. She gets back up, and she does this, I don't know, 20 times. I'm telling you, as a kid, I would have maybe 10 times you would have got me, and I would say, I can't make this work. But she did not give up. The other kids obviously were doing it. She saw no reason why she was determined that those bigger boys were doing it, and they were a lot older, but that made no difference to Honey. She was going to do it. And eventually, you know what? They stopped and helped her. They felt so sorry for her that they helped her. I mean, we would have helped her. We didn't know what to tell her, So she was just one of those things, the kids, you didn't have to work it out, right? But I guess the point I'm making here, okay, and I say this, the point I'm making is this. As adults, we give up. You try something, you do a little bit, doesn't work, and you just, I tried that stuff. I couldn't do it. You don't see kids doing that. In fact, half the time they don't even want you to tell them how to do it. I can tell you a great story about when Honey was little. It's my favorite story of Honey. Her mother, she was about 5, and her mother was they were going to go out and plant some flowers. True story. And here, we're just going to lighten that up again, right? And so her mother, plant a, how you get that, I'm going to just talk to the camera. You get that flat of flowers, the one with all the flowers, and you dig a hole and you put them in. So her mom's going to tell her how to do that, all right? And Honey's 5, and she says, don't tell me. I know everything there is to know about planting flowers. And her mom goes, you're 5. You know nothing. She says, that's not true. And this is the 5-year-old Honey. This is how smart this kid is. And I'm sorry, she is brilliant. She said to her mother, an exact quote, when I was in your womb, I time traveled. And I went to the university, and I got a degree in agriculture, and I still remember. That's what she said. And Cinnamon doesn't blink an eye. She says, well, you can try telling that story to your grandmother. In the meantime, you're going to sit down and listen to how to plant flowers. And then they went out and put them in. But I love that. But Honey was just, that's what kids have. They just are all about, no, they don't want help. They don't want you to tell them how to do it. They just want to discover it. And boy, as we get older, we lose some of that. I'm going to bring this up, John, because I've got to keep coming down with the jeans, all right? Need a little bit more white right here, but I'm going to keep coming down with the jeans. Kind of this raggedy edge here. Okay? Keep coming down. And that's what I want to get back. I mean, we're right about in here. Can you see me now? Yeah. And honestly, that's one of my favorite Honey stories. I mean, I could write a book about the things Honey did. The things Honey did. And I every once in a while I say to her mom, I said, do you not understand how smart this kid is?
Okay.
And her mom will say, well, she says, I vacillate between genius and day laborer. Genius, day laborer, because Honey does make some very strange decisions. But this kid's smart. And in fact, all her children are very smart. Spider's very smart, and Luna is a riot. But I can tell as a grandparent, I'm not just bragging on her. I used to tell these stories at painting parties because no one could believe it. This kid is clever. But the idea is that we were all that way when we should have been that way as kids. And then what happened was we lost it. Somebody talked us out of our belief in ourselves. And let's get it back, okay? Ginger's on her soapbox today. The belief in ourselves. I say, let's get the belief back. Okay? And then, incidentally, I forgot this little line right here. Remember? This little line right here. Got like that, little bit of line, little dark line right here. This is that little line from the, that seam thing. All right, I've got too much light on the brush. I'm gonna dry that. All right, then we're gonna work on this foot here. We need to make that foot a little fatter, and we're done. But that's Honey was one of those kids that was just willing to try it, and that's a really great characteristic. And I'll tell a little story while I'm finishing this on her brother, Spider, same Spider. When he was about that age, he'd gotten his dad's tools, and he started dismantling that. That lamp she's got on her show, the one with the oil lamp. You guys remember that one? If you watched the Art Sherpa show, my daughter Cinnamon show, you know that lamp? Well, she turns around, and Spider's got that apart. He's found a screwdriver, and he's unplugged it, and he's starting to take that lamp apart. And his mom says, "What are you doing? Will you stop that?" And he says, I'm taking the lamp apart." She said, "You can't do that." She says, "You can't be taking my stuff apart." And he looks at her, and he says, "Mom, you're breaking my heart. I have to know how things work." Isn't that cute? Probably not if it's your lamp, and I said, "Well, then go to the Goodwill and find him something you can take apart." But anyway, that's the kids. And let's get back to that for ourselves. Let's not lose that. Let's get our kids back a little bit in the sense that let's get our inner child artist back, and not worry what someone else did or whether they did it better. We don't care. You're on a learning curve. The only person you need to care about doing this is you, okay? All right, now I'm going to make this foot a little bigger. Now, we've been playing with blue paint, so you got to really rinse this brush or get a different one. Can't have any blue. But we're going to do that. We're going to touch the bottom of the container. And then what you do is you take a clean spot on the rag like this. And you see any blue on there? No. So that means you can go ahead and mix colors. So let's see. We said that was blue and yellow. No, that's not right. Cad Yellow. See, I've got it written here. Yellow Oxide, burnt sienna, a little bit of white. Okay, going to come up here like this. On the top of the foot, and make that a little bit bigger. Look at that. See, right like that. Put a little bit of magenta with this up here. I don't know why I did that, but I did. And this one, so I'm going to do it here. Rinse the brush, wipe it off. Now just have a damp brush, nothing else. That's my blending. People say, do you use water to blend? Yeah, sometimes a damp brush helps. You're going, well, you never said that. Well, I guess, I don't know, you never asked. That's how I'm doing it. And I'm going to take a little of this dark color here, this little burnt umber, which I have something over here like this, and make a little shadow. There would be a little shadow under here like this, just under the foot a little bit. Like that. And then pinch it and bring that down. Okay? Little shadow under the foot. I like that. Let's bring our red up again. A couple places. Let's get some color on here like that. There we go. Let's pop that red a little bit. There we go. That's pretty. And then, oh yeah, here we got to give the heel some more support. When I did this in, I didn't do it as perfectly. It's okay. It's okay. I don't want to have anybody say that we're not showing you how things work. You can paint over something. Paint over it. All right, you guys, I would say that's our picture. Do I have it in the right position? Not going to raise and lower it. All right, well, come on, this was fun, wasn't it? we did something big. We got to play with the electric easel. We went up and down. We did little plates. We got most hardly anything's left. We used up our colors. Pretty good, right? And we have a nifty painting, and I don't know if anybody wants any paintings of shoes, but I love this photograph when I saw it, the original photograph of this, and got permission to use it, and here it is, and I think it's fantastic. So anyway, don't forget, if you're going to paint this, go to our website, gingercooklive.gallery, if you want the grid to this, and of course you can make it 8 by 10. You do not have to make it that big. You could make it just 8 by 10. I'm just showing you how to do it 16 by 20. All right, thanks for watching, and have a fabulous day.